Heyo, sorry for being late, but we were having a little bit of a feedback issue. And maybe you all can tell me. This is Larry from Larry's Library. I'm OmniDog. This is Book Club. Maybe you can tell me if you guys are hearing a little. It's my voice that is echoing. So if you guys don't hear it, I can ignore it, and we'll work on it.
Yeah, let us know if you can hear it. I don't hear it on my end, but which means it's probably coming from my setup.
Okay, Chris can hear the echo.
Okay.
How distracting is it, Chris? Maybe wait, no. What if I turn my volume down? Does that affect it? No, I can still hear it. Yeah. How bad is this? This may be a very short book club. The echo is faint, but you can hear it, says Benjamin. Okay, well, maybe I'll let Larry talk for the most part.
Oh, no.
Phones, that's the answer.
Well, Kristen, I have them, but I don't have an adapter to fit this laptop. I mean, actually, I do. I just dug it out of a drawer. But the problem is I've got to install the drivers to get it to work.
Okay, this will be a Larry-centric book club. So we'll have Larry do most of the talking. We're reviewing Garth Ennis's Out of the Blue and read Chancellor's Sample, which is why everybody's really here, to hear your thoughts on Sample and how, wow. Yeah, for those of you who need context, Reed is married to Larry's daughter, Kristen. He's Mr. Omnicat, and they've been trying for years to have a baby. They are having a baby. They're headed into their third trimester, but a lot was involved in it, and Reed had to give a sample of him. So you see, this is Reed rocking a very manly mustache here. And so this is Larry, his father-in-law, who is going to give us his review of his son-in-law's trip to the donor clinic.
Well, I liked it. I thought it was painfully honest, for sure. And I think it's realistic. And there is something to be said for experiencing a very human, uncomfortable thing with someone else. You know, there's an appeal to that, and you're uncomfortable right along with them. So,
were you extra uncomfortable because you're his father-in-law?
I don't know, maybe a little, but I think it's kind of universal. I think.
Yeah, I don't think it's universal for a father-in-law to read about his daughter.
Well, I mean, to be uncomfortable to see we go through this.
Okay, well, I'm going to try and keep my part of the show short so we don't get an echo. We can't show slides of this, although I think we can show art from the very first page. Yeah, we can show art from the very first page. This is Reed going to the clinic again, going for a very kind of a dreamer style mustache here, but actually I like Reed a lot, so I'll stop teasing him about his mustache. So no, actually that's why I'm going to keep teasing him about it, because I like him so much. Let's see, can I show another part?
Hey, I got an idea, Jess. Let me try something real quick. What if I...
Oh, Comic Slayer says the echo appears to be gone for what it's worth.
I bet if I get closer, it's still there, though. Is it?
Maybe not. I don't know why. I don't even have my mic plugged in. Why am I leaning in like this? That's not the reason. I unplugged my mic first.
Well, I have another idea. I could put the stream on my computer in the other room, and I think these have enough reach that I could still hear it. So then I could hear the feed from in there, turn these speakers off, the echo would go away.
The echo is still there. Okay, do what you can, and
okay,
we'll talk about Sample probably for the whole stream. Yeah, we read Out of the Blue, good book, but okay.
Okay, I'll be right back.
Okay, so as you can hear, when Larry leaves, there's no echo for me. So I will tell you my thoughts on Sample. Larry was right. It is very painfully honest, which is what Breed deals with. I mean, his comics are all, generally the ones about him are all painfully honest, and that's what you come for.
So I can hear
it. Well, okay, Larry's mic is still on. Okay, Harvey really loved Sample. Good. I'm glad you got a copy. There aren't very many copies. There are only like 20 of these made. You are definitely. I'm hearing that in the background now. You are definitely. I'm hearing that in the background. Oh no. No, I guess people's experiences are differing.
Okay, how's that? Better?
I guess people's experiences are differing. Where are you?
Okay, how's that? Better?
Now I'm hearing feedback from like both of us in a delay. I was all calm and cool, but now I'm sweating for some reason. Okay, I'm not hearing any echo. All calm and cool, but now I'm sweating for some reason. Okay, now I hear myself. Okay, I'm not hearing any. Out of the Blue by Garth Ennis is a war comic from World War II, near the end of World War II. It's about fighter pilots near the very end of the war. And nobody does war comics like Garth Ennis. They're very realistic. It's apparent he does an awful lot of research, and they are very realistic because not only are the fight scenes realistic, but we delve a lot into the protagonist's personal life because he has a wife. He's at odds with his commanding officer, and the commanding officer has it out for him. Okay, let's see how it goes. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
I don't know. Did that work?
I can hear you, but can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes.
You can hear me.
Yes.
Okay. So I was talking about Out of the Blue. Okay, good. This is solved. Thank you, everybody, for hanging in there. Out of the Blue, I described it as towards the end of World War II. We have a lot of slides that Larry was kind enough to send me. So this is what the book looks like. There were 2 books, Volume 1, Volume 2, and the illustration is the illustrations are amazing, but it's clear that the artist is an aviation artist. His faces and bodies aren't that great, but the aircraft and the aircraft carriers and the battleships and stuff are gorgeous. So you do suffer a little bit with the faces here, but the story he tells is a very down to earth, real one because it's about a pilot that is at odds with his commanding officer, and the commanding officer is trying to undermine his confidence and also is going after the guy's wife and using it for his purposes to undermine his the confidence in the other fighter pilot. So it's really I felt it was a really well done story, especially on the personal side, because it really dives into the human cost, especially when we deal with the human cost of the war, because it's not just endless fights. The protagonist has a moment of clarity because he's a bit of a whiner. The management's got it in for me. And he comes home whining a lot. His wife's getting sick of it. And then he visits his friends. His friend is a pilot in the same program, and he has suffered terrible burns on his face. He literally looks like Two-Face, and he goes to have a meetup with his friends who all suffer from these terrible facial burns. And it's kind of a moment of he has an epiphany at that moment that his life really isn't that bad, because these guys are all just happy to still be alive and fighting in the war. So he has a bit of an attitude adjustment, and I will show you some more of the slides. What did you there? You can see sort of the little problem with the face, but how great the aviation photos are. So Larry, we can listen to what your thoughts were. Here's the commanding officer on the top. What were your thoughts on Out of the Blue?
Okay, yeah, now I do have a weird delay, so
that's okay. You can give your thoughts on Out of the Blue.
Okay. I loved it.
What did you love about it?
I thought the art, it reminded me of sort of a cross between. Wow, this isn't working.
Oh dear. You've got too much delay on your end?
Yeah. Too much delay. Yeah.
Okay. Maybe you can try and fix your mic, and I will you can go offline and try and fix your mic, and I'll just soldier on, and then maybe sign back in when you think, I'm sorry, your headphones, maybe you can sign back in.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, let's try that.
Okay. Okay, I apologize. Of course, Larry apologizes. We obviously did not mean for that to happen. But it's not, it looks like that from here, from that picture, but the but here you can see this is our protagonist, whose name is Jamie, and his wife Beth. There he is with his wife Beth. They're very much in love, and he's got like a pencil thin stash that she makes fun of. Oh yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. So the strength of the artist is in the actual aircraft and stuff that he does, but the story is told well enough that it didn't pull me too far out of the story, because the story was really emphatically about Jamie and his wife and his his commanding officer's efforts to undermine him. Now, you may say, why would a commanding officer try to undermine one of the guys that he's working for? Commanding officer has been serving almost nonstop active duty since 1939, and we are into 1944 at this point. And so he may be suffering a lot of battle fatigue. And Jamie also appears to have a bit of a drinking problem. He says he is a Scot, but he does like his scotch, and it does tend to undermine him when the commanding officer constantly baits him. Let's see what else we've got here. These are great. Okay, you can see how well these airplanes are illustrated here. That is the strength of the artist, and it's a strength of Garth Ennis that he's able to not only be technically work in the technical details and work in a lot of the banter between all the pilots, but he gets a lot of the battle details. It sounds like correct too. Let's see what it sounds like now. How are we doing now?
I turned the speakers down as low as I could, and I'm going to stay away from them. See if that helps at all. I think the delay's gone, right?
I'm not hearing myself.
And I don't think I'm delayed, right?
No.
Okay.
Not at all.
Just have to do it like this.
Okay, this sounds fine. Thanks everyone for bearing with us. What were your thoughts on Out of the Blue?
Okay, I loved it. I thought the art was sort of a combination of Howard Chaykin crossed with Neil Adams.
Oh, you thought it was that good, huh?
Yeah. Yeah, I did. I enjoyed it a lot. I thought the faces being a little bit quirky reminded me of some of Howard Chaykin's stuff, because he has sometimes odd shaped faces and heads,
Right. I feel like the illustrator's strength is definitely in. I mean, he's an aviation illustrator by trade. I thought his faces were very weak, but the battle scenes with the aircraft and the planes and everything were really strong.
Well, the people grew on me, and I I learned to deal with it after a while, and I actually liked it, But yeah, I thought the water spray and the clouds and the wind, you could. It sounds silly, but you could almost feel that spray, during those battle scenes. And
yeah, no, it doesn't sound silly at all. Look at this. Yeah, this is great to show the perspective and everything. You felt like you were in the battle, especially with the banter that goes on, between the pilots and everything. It's very technical, but it sounds very true to life. And Jamie even ends up saving the commanding officer's life in one of the battles.
I thought it was spectacular. That water is so real looking. I mean, and when his wife ended up confronting him and about his whining, and then what you were talking about earlier when I had my technical problems with the where those guys with all the facial wounds, kind of set him straight and got him to kind of wake up and realize that he didn't really have that much to complain about,
Yeah, and there's also the racism component, which they it's a casual racism towards. Jamie has a navigator that's from India, and which is of course part of the British Empire at the time, and he is since he has brown skin, he is discriminated against. And
at one point he asked his wife, I think it was his wife, wasn't it? He asked her what he should call him. Are they colored? He says, And she says, well, that doesn't sound right. It's not like someone took out a box of crayons. And
yeah, it's clear that he hasn't worked with any people of color in any capacity before this. The guy's pretty much an outcast, and it's a sign of how low Jamie is on the totem pole. That he's given the worst plane in the unit, one that won't. During tests, everything works fine. The bombs, the guns, the rockets, everything works fine.
Glitch out though sometimes.
Yeah, and so he gives him what's considered the worst plane and the least desirable navigator, although he's quite qualified. So that's another component of how real life this is, and it's got a war backdrop, but it's really much more of the human cost of war, and I feel like it seems you don't really, a lot of times in war books, get down into officers' personal lives, but this guy's not only confronted with his commander lacking confidence in him, but the casual racism towards his navigator, and the disfigured pilots that he encounters. So there's that to me, it's more like a very personal story about an officer in World War II, and then the planes are an extra component of it, but they also make an important point about how he's such a good a pilot, how he becomes a different person when he gets in the seat there.
Yeah. Did you think that his commanding officer did he redeem himself enough for you, or did you still think he was sort of a kind of a dick
at the end?
Yeah.
It's hard to say he redeemed himself. I feel like the real issue was that I think he needed rest. He had been at war for 5 or 6 straight years almost, and I felt like he really needed rest. That he was battle worn, and I think it was affecting his judgment. Look at that.
I really appreciated that the shell casings look like shell casings. They're flying out of there, and they don't have the bullets still attached to them, which you see a lot of artists do that, and it just drives me crazy. I know it's just a me problem, but they got it right here. They really nailed it.
It's very realistic. It goes along with goes along with how realistic Ennis's writing is. That this is extremely realistic, and I will say you did point out how realistic the water is, and that's the art as well as the coloring there really help it.
Yeah, the coloring is fantastic.
Yeah. So let's see. Ennis worked with Chaikin on the Marvel Max one-shot War is Hell. So I really like these books a lot. I think they were a good choice for us to read. I don't know about widespread appeal. I'm sure these are considered war comics, since they are, but I would ask anybody that's watching this at the very end, who's
one thing that I wondered is, why was this 2 volumes? I mean, look at that. They're 72 pages each. Why couldn't this just have been a 144 page? And I did some Googling, and apparently there was a hardcover that had both of them in there, but it's out of print.
Oh, okay. Then I don't know. I would have assumed
they have a trade with both of them together.
Huh.
And that's still in print.
Huh, okay. So
You see Kristen's comment here?
Money is why.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the hardcover was like $30 that had both, and then these two are $19.99 each MSRP. So
okay.
It's money. Yeah, it's money. But so I still liked it. I mean, I loved it. And these were really handy and easy to read and easy to handle, being this small, as far as page count. So
there we get a shot of his navigator there with the incredible mustache that his wife teases him about. He's got the pencil thin mustache, and then his navigator has that rockin' mustache there. But there we can see.
Yeah, his wife chides him about that, says, "Now that's a mustache."
Yeah.
Yeah, his wife is an incredible character. I thought she was awesome, didn't you?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, she was really good. She had a lot of weight to her. Keith Burns is the artist's name.
Yeah, and he's inking and penciling, but we have a colorist.
Jason Wordy is the colorist.
Yes.
That was Lars's question. But I mean, I think the faces are serviceable, but the aircraft is this. Keith Burns is an award-winning aviation artist and commercial illustrator, so his primary focus is on aviation stuff, which he's perfect for. And I didn't
mind the faces. And that's odd for me because I'm usually not into that much cartoony art, but I thought they were fine. And like I said, it reminds me of Howard Chaykin a lot, and I love Howard Chaykin. So, yeah.
Let's see. Do we have another? There is there's his wife, and there he is. She's doing the eye roll because he's complaining about stuff, as he's always complaining about stuff.
How do you like that lower panel there, Jess, with the colors and the sunset?
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Car. I mean, look at all the detail in the tree, and even on the roof there of the house.
Yeah, and their conversation. They're supposed to go to a party, a dance in the I can't remember where the dance was, but it was like a morale booster that's mandatory. So it might not necessarily be a morale booster, but she's already fed up with his attitude because he's just been whining a lot about how the commander has it in for him. And let's see, is that it? Or do we have one more? There we go. Let's see, this is where I kind of, her face is just, I don't know, that the face sort of puts me off.
Now, this face here in particular, the way he does where the nose sort of disappears, that reminded me of Tim Sale. Because if you look at the Tim Sale stuff that, the colors, the Marvel Colors series, he does the same thing with women's faces a lot. And I don't mind it, but,
Yeah, well, this is the woman that the commanding officer ends up dancing with at the dance like 18 times, and an old friend of Jamie's, the protagonist sitting in the chair there. Yeah, I do too.
Yeah, I love them.
That's okay. Everything's different to different people, but he does have Jamie, the protagonist, does have a friend, an older guy that flew planes in World War I, who is sort of his confidant and ends up telling Beth what Jamie went through in a air battle in Russia to get back to her and marry her. And that gives her a little different perspective too on Jamie's behavior.
There's so much detail in that top panel. I think I could have blown that up the full size of the screen. It would have held up. I should have done it, but
okay. So there's some more of the art, and he's shaving his mustache off, and she's extremely excited because
she's been trying to get him to do that, and he finally relents.
So what would you give this we like the story. You liked the art. I liked the aviation part of the art. And the colors, I think we both agreed were really a highlight for us.
Yeah.
So what did you feel like out of 5 stars you would give this on Goodreads?
This would be 5 out of 5 for me on Goodreads. In my 10 scale, I think it'd be 9 out of 10. But
yeah, I think the human interest part of this, because Garth Ennis always seems, I'm going to have to just assume since I wasn't in any of the wars, I assume he has his research down to the point where all the technical aspects of it are spot on. And it was the personal story here that really, Oh,
did I? Okay. See, I don't like the 5 scale. I can never decide it. I think it's too limiting, but.
Yeah, I do too. I think this is probably a 4.5 for me.
Yeah.
Because 5 to me would mean great art, great story, and for me, this is just the faces kind of pull me out of it. They aren't really related. Boy, you're right. She has no nose, and he has a big, strong nose with shadow. Huh.
But if you look at if you go back and look at some of the Tim Sale color books, he does the same thing. That's like Spider-Man Blue.
Okay.
If you have that anywhere, you can grab it. If you look at Spider-Man Blue, look at how he draws Gwen.
I'm sorry, Bar's not here because I pulled it right away.
Oh, awesome.
My pull game is strong. Oh yeah, I can see what you mean. Yeah, he does do that, but you could still, to me, you still see the difference in how I think the eyes and the eyebrows and everything are more expressive, in the mouth, even without the nose. I think that this is still more of a complete picture than with the other, with what's showing.
That's fair.
This makes me realize I want to read this colors book. Again, because I don't even know I don't think I've even read this. I pull something and then I want to read it.
It's fantastic. Yeah. Did you catch the part where there's he thinks back to a lot of he doesn't think back, but his former boss mentions to his current boss about that run he did where he flew through hell.
Yeah, to get back to his wife, to ask her to marry him.
There's an editor note that says that story was told in the previous thing that Garth Ennis and Keith Burns did, and I'm thinking it's Johnny Red. Maybe I don't have it, and I haven't read it. So this is sort of a quiet sequel, I think.
Yeah, I was going to look through my Garth Ennis war books because they're in a separate place. But yeah, I will definitely check that out. When he tells her, does he tell the commanding officer? Another thing, here's another graphic. Let me see if I can highlight myself here. One of these illustrations really shows the human damage that this is from the enemy's perspective of one of these fighter planes coming in and ripping apart the people on the ship, and the damage that can be done in a human way. Let's see. And then stuff like this, you really see he doesn't try and sanitize the high cost of war here, even if these are the enemies.
And the only reason this isn't 10 for me is I wish I would have had more of an ending. I mean, it does end, but I would have liked to seen more about their life afterwards. You know, I mean, it's a good spot how they did end it, but I still would have liked to have more of a little ribbon on it, you know, and to see them have that life that they talked about going to maybe California, where he mentioned that, you know.
Yeah, actually, it ended perfectly for me. Since it was the well, I don't want to say anything about the ending.
Yeah, that's why I didn't scan it. I didn't.
Yeah. So let's so you gave it a 4 on Goodreads. You meant to give it a 4.5 if they only had half a star. I'll give it a 4 and then put in the comments it's really a 4.5 because this was good. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah,
but let's get back to sample.
Okay.
Yeah, I told you, Harvey.
I liked it.
Yeah, well, that's fine. It just wasn't to my taste. So this is the Reed Chancellor, your son-in-law, your daughter's husband.
Yes.
Did your wife read this too?
She hasn't read it yet. She says she's going to. So.
Because okay, I don't. It's not my place to say anything about anybody, but I don't know that I would. Well, Reed stuff is always very personal anyway, because that's he writes what he knows about, and maybe
it's definitely a guy thing. I mean, I think we could safely say that.
Oh yeah.
I mean, and when I said universal earlier, what I meant was it's universal to any guy and really humans to be uncomfortable in a situation, and when a story is told well enough and it's honest enough and realistic enough, you're uncomfortable for the person, even just as the viewer, right? Just as the reader.
Yeah.
And I have to say, Reed nailed that completely. So
he makes the reader uncomfortable, like he's uncomfortable.
Yes.
Because I was uncomfortable. He shares the misery, yeah. Because I was uncomfortable reading it, but I can totally I can relate to it in it's funny how the ending.
Yes. I like the ending.
And the ending after the ending, the final story. It's only about 20 pages long, but I think Reed deserves an awful lot of credit for not only making a book like this, but he does things like Hardcore Anxiety and Sad Religion and stuff. Those are very personal stories, and it takes I'm not sure, as much as I love comic books, I'm not sure that I'm the type of person that could put my life on pen and paper and put it out there.
Where he went with sample.
Sorry?
I definitely could not have went where he went with sample. I couldn't have done it.
Yeah, but he deals with his personal life a lot too in the other books, and then the diabetes book. I actually don't have that one, but I'm assuming it's just as personal as
it's great.
So I do give Reed a lot of credit, and of course I think you couldn't I don't think he would do it without Kristen's support. Right. Certainly not a thing like this. So it helps that it helps, of course, to have a very supportive partner. So I give credit to Reed for doing this. All of the stuff that he does that's so personal.
I'd agree.
Yeah. Oh, hey, here's Pity Ma. Hi, all. I also got and read my copy of Sample. Is it a collectible yet? LOL. Congrats again, Kristen and Reed. Yeah, there's only like 20 of them made, right? Or something?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't think it's a big print run now.
It sounds like Pity Ma and and Cycle both have this book. So that shows that they are dedicated Reed fans. As far as being a collectible, I don't know. Maybe if they option this for a movie, then yeah, sure, it will be.
The cover's fantastic, isn't it?
Oh, I know. This is a great cover. And thank you to Reed for doing the thumbnail. He did the thumbnail for this episode.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
So Rafa, I'm not sure about your question. Sample is sold out. Okay. If you're asking if we've read Valiant comic book superheroes, I have the Valiant books, as many of them as I can. But I haven't read. I've only read a few of them.
Yeah, I haven't read any Valiant, I don't think, at all. I mean, I'm familiar with it, but I haven't read any of it.
Yeah.
A lot of my favorite people worked on that stuff, so I probably should, but
yeah, I don't know what it seems to be getting published by somebody different now under the Valiant name, but published by somebody else. So I don't know what Valiant story is right now.
yeah, I thought they maybe were going under or something. And then didn't that happen, or I don't know.
They're being distributed or published by somebody else, so the characters are still, I guess, with the creators or Valiant. I have read Divinity, and I started my Valiant read through in like 2017 or 18, January of 2018, I feel like, but then it got sidetracked, so I need to go back. Yeah, I need to read a lot of the stuff. Hey, CNSS. Now, one of I think Booster Green asked me if I would do a video like you did for how I voted in the DC poll. So, would you mind if I give you credit if I do a video like that? Because I would never think of that at all. So I'm totally borrowing that idea. But if you
go
have, okay, it ends in 3 days, and I am
you can get it out quick. Then you might influence someone.
Yeah. Well, first I got to go vote, so that's what I'll do right after this.
Oh yeah, you better. And you'll get an email copy sent back to you, so you can reference that when you do your video.
Oh, okay, good. Now, are there like 600 choices like there were for the Marvel one?
No, there's not 600, but there's a lot. But it's so much easier because they use a drop-down system now instead of, you know how you had to fill the dots in across?
Yeah.
And it was like nightmare. Yeah, this is much better.
I wonder if I can I? I'm gonna have to DC Omnibus poll. Okay, I will definitely go on that and do that. Right afterwards. Afterwards today, I'll do that.
Cool.
So what have you been reading recently that you've enjoyed?
See, I just let me reference my Goodreads.
Yeah, that's the way I keep track. Well, I'm almost done with the Trials of X, and then
I just finished Batman Through the Looking Glass.
Oh yeah, that's an old story, right?
Sam Keith and Bruce Jones.
Yeah, that's
Sam
the is that the one with the Mad Hatter?
Yeah, that one.
Yeah,
I liked it a lot, but I thought Sam Keith, some of the art was really sort of very light. I mean, I know he's sketchy anyway, and I like that, but some of it was really, really light. Like he didn't spend enough time with it, I thought. But I liked it overall, though. Liked it a lot.
Okay, good.
And Bruce Jones is always good for me. I'm a great writer.
Yeah, I haven't read that book in a long time. I feel like I read it when it was coming out in floppies.
Yeah, and I read the first, I guess, 5 or 6 issues in a hardcover of Birthright.
Birthright.
Yeah, it's Skybound Image.
Well, okay. So okay, you read. Okay. So let's start over again. What's the next book you read?
It's Birthright. It's the small hardcover that has the first 5 issues in it. I read that one. got that from Kristen, and I thought it was great. It's it's about this
Birthright.
little boy that gets
By
lost
Josh
in the woods,
Williamson.
and he becomes a fantasy hero,
Yeah.
and then he comes back to our world.
That's like 10 trades. Yeah.
But what I just found out was they're going to do a deluxe hardcover with the first 25 issues in it.
Of course, because I own all the trades. You're welcome.
Oh, you got all the trades?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
This was a recommendation from Cycle, Eleanor and the Egret, and I read that, and he's right. This Eleanor and the Egret is great.
So what is that one about?
Harvey, what's that about? I read it so long ago. Of course, I don't. I think I did a video on it, maybe as a hidden gem. It was really good. Harvey, give us a rundown on what that book was about. Eleanor, and she has an egret. Yeah, but what was the story?
I like Sam Keith's stuff he did, those Hulk minis he did. I think he did at least 2 of those. One was Hulk and Wolverine. It was really good.
I have the Max still that I haven't read. Have you ever read the Max?
I haven't read it, but I remember watching the cartoon on MTV. You know, that was really good.
Oh, they did a cartoon of it. I didn't even know that.
Yeah, it was fantastic.
Oh, okay. Here we go. Eleanor the Egret, OmniDog. Thank you, James. OmniDog's Vault, favorite standalone, one and done comics part 3.
Cool.
Oh, I need to get that going again. Favorite standalone, one and done comics. Let me take a screenshot of this so I remember. Good. Thank you, James. Okay, good. Yeah, thanks, Harvey. I appreciate that. That's what I said.
Yeah, I think I may have to try to get see what kind of format they have of Johnny Red, which I guess is the series or the graphic novel, I should say, before Out of the Blue. I think I may have to try to dig that up.
Is that what it referenced? Johnny Red, or did it?
I don't think it said, but it let's see if I can find that page.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he blames everything on a see Archangel War Stories Volume 2. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah. But is that part of Johnny Red or not? I don't know for sure.
But that's a good question. It's from Avatar, and this is from Aftershock.
But it's creator owned, so you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to kind of look into it because I definitely would like more from this team. So.
The most daring art thief in Paris has struck again, and the police have assigned. This is Eleanor and the Egret.
Okay.
The police have assigned their best detective to the case. His only clue: a single white feather left at the scene. Could this feather belong to the thief, to the thief's accomplice, an oversized talking egret, or will his investigation lead him to somewhere even stranger? A peculiar and unforgettable tale of birds and banditry, paintings and pets, larceny, love, and lamprey wielding assassins. Okay, I need to reread this. I liked it enough to do a video on it, but I don't really remember all of that. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's pretty much it for book club. Why don't we try and pick maybe something, a one and done kind of fantasy based thing. Let's try and pick something again like we did with Darkroom, where people might already have it in their collections.
Yeah. Okay. We'll have to come up with something.
Yeah, let's look in our collections and see. I think maybe a fantasy based something like that. That sounds appealing to me for the next one.
Yeah, sounds good.
Okay, and Larry's links are and I think I put Kristen Reed's stuff is in the description below. Larry's library is in the description below. Click the link and go to Larry. He's very productive and prolific. He's way more prolific than I am. So his channel needs some love, and he definitely puts out quality stuff. I
think
vote for
Kristen might
Twig.
have it.
Do you have Twig?
I think I do. Actually, it's my wife's copy, but I'm sure she'll let me read it.
I know I have it right here. Kristen votes for Twig.
I'm okay with that.
Okay, I am too. I bet a lot of people have that. Scotty Young and Kyle Strom. Yeah, Mom has Twig.
Okay, cool.
Lon, I'm sorry you're late too, because we're just wrapping it up. Is that out yet? I don't think that's out yet, is it? My favorite thing is monsters. I can put a vote in the Discord for the next book for you. Oh, well, thanks. I think we just decided Twig.
Yep.
Because we'll give everybody a month to read it. You can read this on Hoopla because it's Image. So that way everybody can, everybody has access to it.
Yeah. Yeah, that sounds good.
I'll put that up right now on my community tab. And, oh, okay. Well,
I guess Cycle has some kind of beef with Scotty Young. I don't
know. Boy, my favorite thing is Monsters comes out next week. Okay, good. Have you read the first one? My favorite thing is Monsters?
I have not. I have not.
Yeah, it's pretty epic. Oh, Pity Ma has Twig. Good. We'll get Pity Ma's buy-in then. Cycle just is Cycle.
Yeah.
Okay. He's yes, it's okay. So he won't own it.
I didn't say I wouldn't read it. I'm just not going to buy it necessarily.
Well, they haven't seen me. They haven't sent me an advanced reader copy like Kristen always gets. So
yeah,
it's going to have to wait till I would like some Algo love, like everybody wants Algo love. Yeah. But
I am supposed to get an advanced physical copy of Dark Room 2.
Oh, you are?
Yeah.
Nice.
They're not quite done yet, but
that's really nice. Okay, great. I appreciate everybody that's tuned in. Apologize for the technical difficulties. I'll put it in the description that the stream really kind of starts at 3:20, 3:25. I'll take the blame for that because I signed on late. Had I signed on 15 minutes early, maybe I would have picked up on that and we could have worked it out. But so
I'll get this sorted out for sure. So we won't.
Well, it sounds fine now. So whatever's happened now has worked.
Well, I'll probably get me some Bluetooth headset for this laptop, and then that'll fix the whole thing. But
okay, well, that's definitely my fault because I should have tuned in much earlier because you never know when you're gonna. I've never had a problem with you before, so but you never know when technical problems are gonna pop up. So yeah, that's on me, and I will do better in the future.
Yeah, I will too.
Okay, so everybody, please go to Larry's library. You can go to the DC poll and vote for the DC books that we want DC to publish. And James has already put that in there. You can find me on OmniDog's_Vault on Instagram also, and in my Discord. So thank you, everybody, for tuning in. I appreciate it. And we will end with my theme song. Thank you so much, Larry, especially for the slides, which were great. And so peace and love. Thank you all so much.